Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Quadu with the Smile Code podcast. And today we have a treat. We have a guest in the name of Joejoe. Many of you who follow my podcasts have had a preview of Joejoe's story. I did a preview, I think a week or two ago, about a post that Joejoe sent me a couple of weekends ago, I think it was, maybe three, I'm not sure. But it was so inspirational, moved me to tears and moved many people to tears. And Joejoe, I've known Joejoe for probably close to 20 years, I think it's been. I think the way we met, it was in a dental office that I was working in. Joejoe came in, and apparently he had seen me on the freeway and driving my car, and he thought, that lady looks like she might be from Ghana. And little did he know that a few days later, he was going to meet me, and I was going to be his dentist in this office that I worked at in Redmond. And the rest is history. Joejoe is just an amazing person. I've watched him from a distance and also up close. He's just really inspiring in how he's just tackled the challenges and experiences that he's had to face in his life. And so before saying much else, I'm just going to turn it over to Joejoe. Welcome, Joejoe. And can you
Thank
start off by telling us a little bit about you and who you are and what makes you you?
oh, Thank you very much, Dr. Query, for inviting me to this podcast. I must say that this is my very first podcast, so I'm really excited, and I couldn't be more happy and excited that it's going to be with you on your podcast. So, thank you very much for having me.
You're very
Um,
welcome.
Thank you. A little bit about myself. So I am Joejoe. Um, I am I am an engineer. I work for Boeing, and I have a 17-year-old son. Currently, I reside in Seattle. Seattle has been my home for the past 28 years or so.
Mhm.
Um, and I have a 17-year-old son whom unfortunately was born preemie, and shortly after birth, he did suffer a catastrophic brain hemorrhage. So as a result of that, it affected his gross fine motor skills as well as his speech. And so ever since then, I've been on this journey in caring for him and taking care of him and trying to navigate through the complex web of medical complexities that comes with having a disabled child. It's been an incredible journey uh, with many highs and lows, happy moments and sad moments. But through it all, it's been very very rewarding, and
Mhm.
so the journey continues. Um,
Mhm.
yeah.
So if I may just interrupt briefly. So
Mhm.
your son, Andy, your son,
Correct.
because I talked
Mhm.
about Andy in my preview of your story. Um, so Andy's mom
Mhm.
passed, right? She died early
Yes,
early on.
yes, yeah. She did. She passed away. I think 8 months after Andy was born.
Okay.
Tragically, she had a short illness, and she wasn't able to recover from
Mhm.
that. And so since then, I was just trusting to this role of being a father and a mom.
Mhm.
Something that I had not planned or envisioned at all.
They say
And
man
so,
proposes, but God disposes, right? I mean,
yes, yes,
you would never have thought that you would be in the position that you are now. But so you've been a single dad for
for
17
17
and
and
a
a
half
half years.
years.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
17 and a
Wow.
half years, 17 and a half years and counting.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And you're doing a mighty fine job, if I might add.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's very interesting in the sense that a lot of times when I'm trying to think about the job that I'm doing, sometimes I think that I fall short and that I'm not doing adequately enough. But when I hear stories from people who are looking at us from afar, um, you know, the sentiments that I get from folks uh, that that somehow I'm doing an okay job, but it's just by grace. It's just by grace
By the
that
grace of God,
by
yes.
the grace of God. I mean, I literally share that with everyone that some days I'm just literally at my wit's end where I feel like I cannot go on anymore. But somehow, by the grace of God, I'm able to pull it through day in after day, and sometimes I just don't know where I get the strength from. I don't
Yes.
know where I get the energy from. Or I don't know how I get the um, the wisdom and the knowledge. But I would say this: one thing that has kept me going is every morning. My prayer has always been, Lord, give me these four things. Give me wisdom, give me knowledge, give me the strength, give me the patience and ability to care for Andy. That's always been my prayer. That's always been my prayer.
And
I
it's
don't
carried
ask
you through.
it. That's what has carried me through. I don't ask for, I don't ask for fame, riches, glory, none of that. It's always been these five things. Um, strength, wisdom, knowledge, patience, and ability to care for Andy. And that's what has
Yes,
carried me through.
yes, yes. And
Because
God has provided those things.
yes, he has. He's
Hmm.
abundantly. Because
Yes.
there's been many times that I just had no idea how we made it out. And
Yes.
you know some of the stories,
Yes. Yes.
uh, from God delivering us from a shooting incident,
Yes.
God delivering us from a rollover accident,
Yes.
God delivering us from many surgeries in which the doctors did not give Andy a chance to survive, to come out through.
Yes. Yes.
It's just strictly being by the grace of God.
Yes. Yes. And to recap, the post that you sent a couple of
Mhm.
weeks ago, um, you were just talking about your day, busy day. You work remotely, correct? And you
Correct.
got a call from Andy's school, and they wanted you to bring Andy over to his school for the annual prom.
Correct.
And you didn't know how in the heck you were going to make that happen,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
somehow you did, and it was a good thing you did. Can you
Hmm.
share what happened
What happened?
when you
Okay.
took Andy that day?
Yeah. So this is a day that like you said, I was working remotely, and it was uh it was a busy day. It was on a Friday, and I just wanted to get all my work done
Hmm.
before the weekend. And I knew that my son had a prom event that day, and to be honest with you, I wasn't planning on taking him there because I knew I knew it would it, it would take uh,
It would just
uh,
add to the pressures of the day.
right. it would just add to the pressures of the day, and also it would take some time out of my busy schedule to
Mhm.
take him there, attend to that.
Mhm.
But then I get a phone call from the school saying that, hey, my son would like to attend the event, and that his friends would also like to see him there.
Mhm.
And the school also wanted to see him there.
Mhm.
So I said, okay. Reluctantly, I said, okay, I'll bring him there. So so I got him ready, and I took him there. It was in the evening. I think it was around 5 or 6. So my day ended. I got him ready, and we went over there. So I went over there. As soon as he got there, his face just lit up, and the teachers came, embraced him, and they took him inside the dance hall. And I didn't have to do anything else. All I did was just sat back and just watch.
Watched. Yes.
Time and time again, uh, every single one of the staff members would come, introduce. A lot of them did not know who I was. Uh, well, um, except for his class teacher
Mhm.
and a few of the teachers from his classroom. A lot of the
Mhm.
staff did not know who I was. But every time the the staff would realize who I was, they would come introduce themselves to me and share a little bit about Andy. And it was so touching. I mean, time and time again, every one of them would come back um, and and just share personal stories about how Andy has touched everyone, how he was so loved, how Andy was how Andy was an integral part of the class.
Mhm.
Uh, the things that Andy was doing, which I did not even know that he was capable of doing, being a special needs child, and so I was just moved, and I couldn't believe the things that I was hearing, and and I just sat back and I just watched, and I watched how Andy interacted with the rest of the class,
Mhm.
how the staff members would come one by one and introduce themselves to me, and so this went on throughout the
Throughout the
evening.
evening, people
Throughout the
kept coming
evening,
up to you, telling you
people
how
kept coming up
wonderful it was to be
how
part of Andy's
wonderful he
life.
was. And so at the end of the evening, I was taking Andy. Uh, um, we were leaving, and we were
Mhm.
in the parking lot. And I was trying to get Andy into the car, and then another gentleman approached me, came and shook my hand, and said, "Hey, are you the dad?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, and he wanted to thank me so much for having Andy. He said, your son has been a blessing to me and my child. Your son, by far, is what were the words that he used? He said, your son, by far, brings so much joy and so much happiness to everyone that he comes in contact with." And he
Mhm.
said, "Look, Sarah, you are blessed. And thank
Mhm.
you for letting us be a part of your son's life." And uh, when he said that, I
You got chill
was
bumps. You got chill bumps.
I
You
got
got
I got
emotional.
chill bumps. I got emotional. I was speechless. And so on the ride home, I started thinking about it, and I started reflecting about what had happened throughout the evening. And then throughout my reflection, um, I had a moment where I said to myself, you know what? God gave me Andy, but maybe the real gift is that Andy is not only for me, but that Andy is for the rest of the world. I'm just a custodian. I'm just here providing care for Andy so Andy
Can
could
do what he
rest.
came here to do.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And to me,
Wow.
that was the wow moment for me. That was the
Mhm.
big moment for me. And so after realizing that, I came to the conclusion that, I mean, it's who God who gives. And
Mhm.
so let me just sit back, do what I can do in caring for Andy, and see what God can do
With
in
and
his life. With
yes.
given all the constraints that we think he has, but
Yes.
to God, it's not a constraint.
At
He can
all.
use that in blessing
And bless the world.
and bless the world. And so that's
Yeah.
been the biggest inspiration, um,
Yes.
that I've
Yes.
gotten out of this.
Yes. When I read your posts, I got
Mhm,
chill bumps too, because I've been watching you sometimes from really close and sometimes from afar, and
mhm,
I've just been moved with your strength and also with the resilience of Andy. Um, nothing is by accident, honestly. Nothing in this
mhm,
universe is by accident. And the fact
mhm,
that you were gifted Andy
mhm,
in the way that he was gifted to you,
mhm,
and how through all the years you have managed to find the strength amidst all kinds of medical complexities.
mhm,
You have found the strength, Andy has found the strength and the resilience to come through. It's not for naught. That's a reason. And this incident, this day at the prom,
mhm.
is evidence that God uses whatever situation we have.
Right.
There's always a silver lining if we look hard enough, if we
Yeah.
tell ourselves the right things, if the self-talk is good, because it's very easy to go down the path of negativity or just exhaustion and
Mhm,
let things take over. But if you can stay true and
mhm.
surrender to God's grace
Yes.
and just do what you can, make sure you
Mhm,
keep your attitude and your
mhm,
emotions in check. Boy, you are, you, Jojo, you are blessing the world by your care of Andy. And Andy, in
mhm,
turn, is blessing the world. And that blessing is so, it's exponential. I
mhm.
mean, we don't know who's going to be watching this, which part of the world they're
Right.
going to be watching this, but your story has inspired me from from years ago, and I'm pretty sure it's going to inspire, not just single parents out there,
Mhm,
just everyone. And so I think that, I thank you. Honestly, I really thank you for your strength and for your care and for your inspiration, because
mhm.
we need more of that. I mean, in the world we live in today, there's just so much going on that can bring us down, and just your story alone is enough to just lift a lot of spirits out there. And so I really thank you for that. So just to recap, you have found strength in your daily prayers, correct?
Right.
You've asked for
Right.
guidance.
Yes.
You've asked for wisdom, you've asked for
Yeah.
strength, you've asked for
Mhm.
God's grace,
Yeah.
and God's provided it. You found
Yeah.
the strength to
Right.
keep going.
Mhm.
And obviously, that has shaped your mental and emotional states as
Mhm.
well. And, I did a segment a week ago about a quote which goes like, "Within your karma,
Mhm.
your life experiences lies your dharma or your life's purpose." Your story really speaks to that. You know, here you
Yes.
are, young, handsome man,
Oh, I don't know
you
about
know,
that.
young, handsome man, you're ready to start your life, and then God
Mhm,
gifts you with a special needs kid that takes
mhm.
literally everything out of you. But you're
Yes.
still standing. 17 and a half years later, you are still standing.
Mhm.
And we thank God for that. Do you want to shed any final insights on your journey? What can you tell the people out there listening that maybe just need a dose of inspiration, going through a hard time right now, and maybe uh, feeling like they need to give up or can't go on anymore? What can you say to that?
Well, um, I don't know. Uh, I don't know what the personal fate of the individuals who may be watching this podcast. But for me, I'm a Christian. I'm a practicing Christian, and I believe in God. And for for me, my faith has been um, uh, an integral part of the journey for me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Um, like I shared with you a few minutes ago, there's been many a times where I did not know where my strength was going to come from. I did not
mm-hmm,
know how I was going to care for Andy that day. Um, um, you know how how we were going to go about our our
get
our day.
through
In
it.
fact,
Mm-hmm,
I'll give you a typical example. I think it was last night. I was completely exhausted. I mean, just completely down. And I was saying to myself, God, give me the strength and the strength to be able to wake up the next day and care for Andy, get him ready for school, because I was just completely exhausted, and I was thinking that I was coming down with something, either
mm-hmm,
cold or
mm-hmm,
some body ache or something, so before I went to bed, I just I just shared a prayer, and then I went to bed, and I woke up the next morning feeling so invigorated. I didn't know where the strength came from,
mm-hmm,
and somehow the next morning things went so smoothly. You know, this was only last night.
mm-hmm,
This is another example of how my faith carries me through.
mm-hmm,
So for me, faith has been an integral part of my journey, and
mm-hmm,
it's what carries me through. What I would say to your viewers and listeners is, just when you think that you're the end of the rope, where you think that you have no more strength to carry on, just take it one moment at a time,
mm-hmm,
1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time. Um, there's there is there is there is a colloquial saying that uh, um, that um, I'm going to take it a day at a time. For
mm-hmm,
me, um, that saying it's so true in my life.
mm-hmm,
That saying could not be any more true in my life, because
mm-hmm.
literally I live from day to day.
Yes.
Just being able to uh, journey through the day is just good
Mm-hmm.
enough for me.
Yes. You know,
Because
they
with a
say that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a
mile
single
begins
step.
right with a single
That's
step.
right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and so all that I would say is just don't think about tomorrow. just thinking about the day, stay in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and just live in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
1 minute at a time, one hour at a time, and just and somehow, when you do that, you somehow find the strength
Find the strength to move on,
to just
because
move on.
thinking of the big picture can be overwhelming, can't it?
Can be overwhelming a lot,
Yes, yes.
a
So
lot.
one baby step at a time. That's
One
what you
baby
need.
step at a time.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Now,
and
Jojo,
for
I know, to wrap up, I know that you are a bassist. You play the bass guitar, correct?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Yes.
I do.
And Andy also has this love for
For
music.
music.
Every time
Yes,
he
he does.
hears music that has
Uh-huh.
some bass in it, he just
Hmm.
bops around and just can't
Right.
stop dancing.
Hmm.
And that's obviously a passion that you share with
Hmm.
Andy. And so I can
Yes.
just imagine that you guys rock it a lot at
Y-
home sometimes.
Yeah, we do, and that's been that's been a part of, music has always been a part of me.
Yes.
Unfortunately, when Andy was born, I had to set it aside and concentrate on him, and
Mm,
so I stopped um, playing a lot around town,
mhm,
you know,
mhm,
in bands and gigging around town,
mhm,
so I kind of parked that aside for a little bit. But now that he's gotten older, I started picking it up, and one of the things that I realized was that anytime I started practicing, uh, he would just start getting excited, and he would just
mhm,
start listening to the music intently. And
mhm.
so lately, what we've been doing is on Friday evenings, on Saturdays, I'll just sit him in front of me while I practice the uh, uh, what I while I practice it, or
Mm,
while I work on some tunes.
mhm.
And to me, it's just been just a wonderful father and son moment where
Yes.
playing, and regardless of what I'm playing, whether I'm making mistakes, or whether I sound terrible, he's like my
He
biggest
just
fan.
loves it.
He just loves it. He just laughs. He just applauds. And yeah,
Well,
so it's been fun.
yes, music has the ability to heal and to
Yeah.
just erase all stress and take
Mhm.
us to moments of pure joy and pure bliss. I'm really glad that you and Andy share that,
Yes.
those musical moments together. One
Mhm.
thing I have to tell you, Jojo, is that
Mhm.
Andy has the most amazing smile. When Andy smiles, he lights up the whole room. The few
Yeah.
times that he's been in to my office, or even when I've seen him in your
Hmm.
home, when he looks at you and then he breaks out into a smile, the
Yeah.
whole room
Yeah.
brightens up. And I'll bet you that's what his school is
Yes.
talking about, when they refer to how much he spreads so much joy
Yeah.
and and shares his gifts with the world.
Hmm.
And I can't thank you enough for what you do.
Well, thank you.
And mm, they say God never gives us more than we can handle. So
Right.
whatever He's given us, we can handle it if we look
Yeah.
at it in the right perspective. And you obviously have been looking at it in the right way. And 17 and a half years and counting. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a miracle in of itself,
It
considering
is.
what you had to go through with Andy and
Right.
his medical issues. So, is there anything you'd like to say in parting as we end the podcast session?
Well, I'd say first and foremost, again, thank you very much for having me.
Sure.
Uh, um, uh, um, it's uh, it's been it's been an incredible journey
Hmm.
with with some highs and lows.
Mhm.
But through it all, I wouldn't change a thing.
Mhm.
It's been fun. There's been a lot
Mhm.
of tears, and there's been a lot of happy moments. And for
Mhm.
me, you know, going through this recent experience that I went through, it showed me one thing that, oh, sorry, it showed me one thing that we may have an idea, we may have a thought about how we want to control the narrative, but ultimately, God controls everything.
Everything.
God controls God controls the outcome.
Mhm.
So here's a case where I was doing everything that I could to give Andy what I thought would be a normal life, working on his speech, working on his his walking, working on his fine motor skills, and then me feeling that, hey, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough to change the narrative. But God looked down and said, look, regardless of the disabilities that Andy has, I can take it and bless the world and
Mhm.
bless the people that he comes in contact with. I couldn't see that. I
Mhm.
had my blinders on.
Mhm.
I couldn't see that. I thought, oh, wait a minute. In order for Andy to bless the world, I need to work on A, B, C, D. So I'm working so hard on these things, but then God is saying, you know what? That's not the outcome that I have for Andy. It,
Yes,
even with his limitations, I can still use that in blessing the world.
that's
And
right.
so
Mhm.
my parting message to all of us is, regardless of how you see yourself in, I mean, if you're going through any challenge, regardless of how you see your role in it, just always remember that you know um, God sees it differently. And
Mhm.
so all you got to do is just not give up, but just putting your next step forward with, and
Mhm.
ultimately He controls the outcome.
That's right. That's right. Because we are shaped by our beliefs and experiences, but there is
Correct.
an infinite number of possibilities out there
Yes.
which we could never in a million
Never.
years
Yeah.
know about. So, who are we to make the determination that it has to be a certain way? We can't.
Exactly.
We cannot make that
You
determination.
cannot.
So we have to trust, do the best
Hmm.
we can with
Hmm.
the information that we have, but we have to
Hmm.
trust in the highest and best outcome.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Jojo. It's
You're
been
welcome.
wonderful having you. And I
Thank
want you
you.
to know that from near and far, we applaud you, we applaud Andy, and we praise the Supreme Being for
Yes.
putting both of you here on this
Yeah.
planet
Yeah.
because you both are a blessing to the world.
Oh,
So,
thank
to all
you.
our listeners out there, I want to say thank you for listening. It's been a real pleasure and joy to have Jojo with us today. And if
Thank
you
you for
have,
having me.
you're very welcome. If any of the listeners have any friends, family, or know people who would be inspired by Joe's story, please share this podcast with them and let them know that there's always someone out there who has a story that can add value and add inspiration and keep us going.
Yes.
Like we said earlier, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And
Mhm.
sometimes all you need is just that little step or that little aha insight, a little dose of inspiration
Yeah.
to make a world of difference. So we thank you. And until next time, this is Dr. Quadu with the Smile Code Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye now.